So I was thinking, I've never done it. Have you ever actually ridden to the island?
Never actually have. Always planned to, but trying to get everybody together and with the busy schedule, and it was always a little tough.
When did you race here last?
Last race here in 2012. And then I did a couple of laps with Mick and Wayne in 2013, and I've never actually been on the track since then. So it's been a long, long time.
I might have a chance to keep up with this one. You never know.
Without a doubt.
Should we finish these coffees and hit the road?
Definitely.
All good? Yep, let's go. I've heard a lot of good things about this Tortoise farm. Two of my mates that have ridden down the pass have stopped here. We should call in and have a look. Could be a good place to have a coffee and just break up the trip. You let me know when. All right, just left up here. Left at the Big Cow. Left at the Big Cow.
You're just out of the city and there's places like this to hang out.
It's something that I didn't really ever do too much of. I don't know about you, but normally I was, airport, straight out to the track. We had jobs to do, but it's actually nice now, especially with the kids and everything. I'd love to bring them to somewhere like here.
Heated grip, setting 2. Back in my day, the only traction control we had was the right wrist. I'll be like Kevin McGee going, the only electronics we had were coils and kill switches. Where did you live in Europe? Andorra. That's right. You're one of the first, weren't you? Yeah. Pioneer, mate. Pioneer. I was there before it was cool.
Enjoy the ride down?
I thoroughly enjoyed the ride down. Something I certainly have wanted to do for many, many years, but never got the opportunity. So, perfect day to do it. Everything's worked out amazing.
Look at that. I'm used to seeing white caps in that ocean. This is weird. This is like lap record shit today. I know. We're not going to be doing it today. Are you sure? Shall we give it a try? Yeah, I'll give it a shot, Kate.
These bikes were good fun. They were good fun for the trip down here, but to ride around the track, like when you rode back in, it's been what, 10 years since you've been here?
Around about 10 years, yeah.
Did it bring back memories? Like what came in? What came into your mind?
For me, today, I was really impressed with the fact that it still has so much of the old element, even though the resurfacing since I last raced, it's been resurfaced. And I was really impressed with how similar it looked when I did race.
Still the same, isn't it?
It's still the same, like everything looks, and especially at the slower speed that we're going around today.
Does it feel so funny going so slow, doesn't it? Oh, doesn't it?
But all the details are there. Everything that made me fall in love with this track, all my points that I would use, all my apex points, they're all still there. And I really love that about it.
I always tried to stay so far right here because if I carry corner speed and you get that wind coming from there, it pushes you there and there's that bump out there. Yeah. For me, my apex is like there. Here? Yep. Yeah. And then just let it run a little bit, but not too far. I would stay like pretty much where you are now. Yep. Until then I would apex again. About here? Right here, yep. And then just try and drive it as straight as I could out here. Up, 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 up.
Just riding those lines again, you go, oh, wow, that's what it was like. And I remember, MotoGP bike is a handful here. You don't get a rest anywhere, do you? But it all started to come back, and I remembered good races, I remembered bad ones, but I was going to say things that you weren't used to seeing, like I was still able to see you. I think it was only 1 year that I was ever close. It was 2006, and I mean, I've got really good memories. My first ever MotoGP podium.
Great ride by Chris Vermeulen. Good to see an Aussie back on the podium, certainly here at Phillip Island. Fabulous stuff from the Aussie former Superbike star. Second place here at Phillip Island. Big crowd here this afternoon.
You've had so many wins around here, like 07 was really special, and then like right through to 12, and they all mean different things, but is there one in particular? Is there one that means more than another one to you, or are they all good for different reasons?
I would say they've all got small aspects to them that really mean a lot to me, but I wouldn't say any one of them is more important than the other. You know, my first one in 2007 was great.
The checkered flag beckons the 21-year-old Australian. What a homecoming for Casey Stoner. He has won the Australian Grand Prix here at Phillip Island.
You were sort of brought in as a fill stop for a year for Ducati, and they didn't expect you to win races, let alone championship. You go and win the championship, the next round's your home GP. Was that pressure there?
It was actually, and that sort of started the pressure series for me. Like, as much as I love this track and I love being out here, it was a very heavy, hard weekend every weekend that I was here. There was just sort of all this expectation and pressure every year, and the more that I won, so it started in 07.
It's like it kept building.
It just kept building. So I just won the championship, came here, people were expecting me to win, and then I won, and then people expected to win the next year, and then you win, and then each year it just builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden there's an expectation that builds inside you as well.
Yeah, sure.
So you come to this weekend almost dreading it, and sort of going like, oh, here we go, you know, I've got to make things happen this weekend. I can't afford to mess up, and as you know, this circuit can bite you pretty hard. You know, the weather can be a massive factor, whether it's the temperature, whether it's the wind, the rain. All these elements there are really very, very tricky at times, and very easy to make a mistake.
Well, this is what you were, especially to the Europeans, like what you did around here. They just loved it, you know, like, well, it's different sort of riding, isn't it? And it's a unique corner, it's a unique track, and your style, you know, worked here, didn't it? Especially because, you know, our background's dirt track, so I like the rear, I like feeling the rear. I didn't like pushing that front end, so as much as I could put it onto the rear, I was more happy and in control. You
came in 13, I remember I interviewed you, bit of PR stuff, and turn 3, you got named after you, it was pretty cool. But you haven't been back since, so you're looking forward to coming to the GP this year and actually watching the race?
Oh, definitely. It's we've been looking at coming back for a while. You know, it's a busy weekend for me. I'm not going to lie, but in general,
everyone still wants a piece of you, right? That's it.
Exactly. But yeah, I've been massively looking forward to it. The championship really has missed it. Yeah. Coming to these sort of circuits is just fantastic. You know, this is pretty much as old school as it gets now on the calendar.
Probably the best track in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have them all back here, and you know, can't wait to see them.
This was always a tricky corner. Very, very tricky corner. Cold right-hand side of the tyre. Normally the surface wasn't as smooth as you'd like, and always very tricky to get into that corner and feel comfortable. I found both the hairpins just unique because the rest of the track was fast and flowing, and then you had to try and stop those things, you know, stop in those corners and not carry too much speed. Yep.
2009, after I came back from lactose intolerance, I didn't know if I was even going to be able to continue my career, let alone you know, come back here and win. And that was a really good moment for me to get back on the top step and still show that I was quick enough. My one in 2011 was really special to me, and I got to win the championship on my birthday. It was my 5th in a row here. My 2nd World Championship. You know, there were so many things on one day that you just can't
put
align.
Together.
It's ridiculous at your home Grand Prix.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I mean, come on. So it was pretty special.
We managed to bring it home for the win, the championship, everything all in one day. Is just, you know, the words can't describe it.
2012, when I came back from my ankle injury, I didn't know if I was going to be able to even be remotely competitive here, but we managed to still win and sign off well before I retired.
For the 6th year in a row now, the winner is Casey Stoner.
You know, my time's, you know, counting down now, and you know, to do it at my home Grand Prix here was just, you know, fairy tale. I think there's no better way to do it than in front of your home crowd, and a crowd this big and this enthusiastic.
You know, each race has its own moments for me. I wouldn't say one is really more special than the other.
I mean, I was on my limit, and I rode a motorbike pretty well at times, but what you did around the island was just special.
I think it's a little unfair for you on the bike that you had to ride around here.
It
wasn't its most suited circuit for sure. I was fortunate with Ducati and Honda that the bike seemed to work well, but the track just sort of gelled well for me.
Yep.
The magical Siberia, I mean, so cool when it's right, but man, you can get some wheel spin and lose some time out of here. Well, it's quite funny, I've said to a few people, you don't actually have to use anywhere near all the track out there. All you're worried about is grip. If your bike grips on the inside and you're 3 metres off the curb, who cares? You just need traction. You don't need to run it all the way out to the curb. You just need grip out of that corner.
I actually rode this track to minimise mistakes and minimise the chance of crashing. I didn't actually do a lot of what I did around here to be faster. It just happened to be that...
Just to take away the risk.
Take away the risk so I can eliminate that and know that I can finish these races well. But instead, I seem to sort of unlock 2 things at once. 1, I took away the risk, and 2, I made it quicker I made it better on tyres, just everything worked for me.
And what about here? The speed, the commitment, like, I think you said to me once before, if your bike works well there, if it turns through here, you knew it was going to work on most of the track. Is that right?
Pretty much. If you got your bike to turn in through that corner because you're so fast, wobbling, you back off. If you can get it to turn really well into the hay shed, get on the throttle and it keeps turning through that corner, basically it's going to work through the whole rest of the track. So that was a key corner for me because it's so difficult to get right.
You know, it was things that I learned from other circuits that I implemented here, and then same things that I learned here I put in other circuits.
I really liked here Lukey Heights. This was like one of my favourites, and in the middle of the corner I could make up a lot of time on the guys I was riding with.
It's the same thing, you know, I think people dive in there a bit too hard.
Yes.
Struggle a little bit to pull it up, sort of make the double apex where a little bit like turn 2, you want to carry that mid-turn speed throughout the whole corner because you're not going to get it back on the exit.
No, exactly.
You're going straight into a braking zone. So it's all about carrying that speed through the mid-turn.
The slowest possible speed I could win on Sunday and take out the risk was the best situation for me.
Where that curve finishes that's my apex point to then start getting on the gas and coming out. So it's a very particular, these last 2 corners for getting right. For me, I always dove into this corner earlier than most, maybe mid-track. Most people go in a bit late and try and get it to come in. But I would go in early and wait for the slope of the track to actually suck me back in.
How cool is this, like turn 12 of Phillip Island? When you get it right, Casey, this is pretty special. Like cresting the top here, running out onto the curb.
It was impressive to watch over the years. It was frustrating for me at times, but it was impressive to watch. So, no, congratulations on all that, mate.
Thank you.
Has it brought back some cool memories?
It has, actually. This is a real racetrack. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful.
It's the nicest racetrack in the world. Most people that ride around here think that same thing, and it's a real races track, like you're saying. It makes for some of the best races we've seen.